We all saw when you won. You know, your family, your girl, and you popping off wild, like a lot of adrenaline. Like, has it settled down now? Like, do you feel?
Yeah. My adrenaline isn't pumping no more.
I know it was online, but how important was it that you actually won that first time round?
Um, I feel like even if I didn't win the first time, I have a good chance the second time. But I feel like it's more important to win the first time when everyone can play. Where like it matters to every single player there, and not someone qualify and then they might not enter the next one, or they might enter the next one. Who knows? But they probably wouldn't try as hard, right? So I feel like winning the first one means a lot more than coming again the second time and winning.
So there was a lot of speculation and criticism leading up to it, and you popped off big at the end as well, talking about how you're clutch. What kind of criticism of your gameplay do you hear the most? And like, does it get to you at all?
It doesn't really get to me, but it's funny as everyone say I'm not clutch because I didn't win Evo or Capcom Cup, but I won E League, which is just as big in my opinion. I win half the premieres in the year just because I didn't win Evo or Capcom Cup. Like that's two tournaments. You can't really excuse every tournament in the year that I win and say I'm not clutch. I don't know. I just feel like people, they be talking, but it just don't really make sense. But I hear it and I see it, and I just wait. I just wait for my time, and then when I win and make them all quiet, and I'm just sitting there laughing.
How important do you feel like it is to get that Evo or Capcom Cup? Because you've literally done everything, everything. Do you feel like you need that Evo and Capcom Cup to just fill that space, get the platinum reward trophy for playing this game?
Yeah, I mean, I want the Evo win more so than Capcom Cup because Capcom Cup honestly it's just 32 people and you have time to study or prepare for all your matches. So I feel like that kind of takes away from the tournament. Whereas Evo is just an open bracket, like it'd be what 2,000-3,000 people. You can't really prepare for what you're going to get there. You just you gotta play and you gotta have your strategies already mapped out before you go into the tournament because like you don't know who you're playing. I think Evo that win is a lot bigger for me than Capcom Cup. If I could get that, then I feel like then no one can say anything to me anymore, right?
That's very interesting because a lot of people would look at Daigo as the GOAT in Street Fighter, and Daigo's biggest point, they call him like the Batman of Street Fighter. Daigo can beat anyone with prep time, but you look at it the other way around in that you respect being able to just turn up and beat people as and when rather than with prep time.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like if you can beat people without time to prepare, that means that one, you can be really good at adapting to players mid game, which I think is like the greatest skill you can possibly have in a fighting game. And I feel like just the unpredictability and like you just not knowing who you play, you mean you have your strategies already. So that means you came into the tournament with strategies for each character already. Even though you don't know the player you're going to be playing, you have the strategy for the character. So I feel like it just shows like how much work you put into just training or just learning different matchups and learning how to adapt on the fly when you might be in danger. And you also don't have the 3 out of 5 the whole way through. You just got 2 out of 3 until you get to top 8. So that's a lot of matches you had to play 2 out of 3s in Street Fighter 5, and it gets scary.
Let's talk about adaptation though, because the 3 sets that you played against Idom were really, really interesting. Obviously, the first set in winners finals, he opened up, and you're just awareness of the range, and you straight away opened up with that the EX Tenko punish on a crouch and heavy punch. Like immediately, you were blowing up. You whiff punishing as well, with standing medium punch. I think in the first game on his medium punch, yeah, or something. And like your awareness in that first game was really, really high. Like, is that something you've specifically worked on in that matchup?
Well, yeah, I mean, the matchup is very hard for Karen, so you kind of have to play at your best, and you can't really make many mistakes at all against Poison when you're playing with Karen. So it's not really normal for Karen to have to deal with, because usually she's the character that's bullying you with her buttons, and because her neutral is kind of a lot better than most of the cast. So you just have to approach the matchup completely different than you do usual matchups. But I feel like I have experience in it, because I had to play Fudo Birdie for so many times with Karen. You kind of really still have to rely on playing on the ground, even though you're like really outranged.
So let's talk about stuff that specifically you look for when you're playing Idom. Like, is there anything that he does specifically that you're really looking for?
Yeah, I mean, when I put him in the corner, like, he gets really panicky and he just wants to jump out. So like, you see me play him a lot in the set, I do a lot of ear to ears, because Karen's her crouch fierce and stand fierce is I'm not very good versus Poison, because her jump fierce hit so fast, you'll get hit a lot of times before you press it. So you gotta really be aware of that. And his defense in general is just really random, so you just have to look out for a lot of dumb things that you would never think. Like, when he's losing, he panic and does random EX overheads that I just don't really know what's the reason behind it, because it has no invincibility or anything. So you have to look out for those. And like, I think his reversal jab timing is pretty good, but I feel like I have a great read on it, because he does it kind of at the same time every single time. So that's the thing. And I'm always trying to be aware of for when I have V reversal and when is a good time to use it, because that's probably the most important thing in the matchup, is knowing how to use V reversal, because EX heart rate will just kill you. That move is very broken.
So I was watching on your stream, and we'll talk about the comeback, because I think that's the most important thing of the whole set. But for me, I want to ask you about his character switches. What do you think about that switch? Like, when he went to the character select screen, like, how did you feel, and what are you thinking about?
When he went back to the character select screen, I knew I won the set. Like, I was already calm, like, oh, you're just going to leave off of Poison, then you're lost. Like, is this over? That means you're cracked. I feel like he mentally cracked and he choked, because like, why? I don't see, if I won 5 games with a character, I'm not switching, I'm not going to switch if I beat someone 5 games in a row and they got 1 win. And maybe that's what happened to Ida. He was like, bro, I just want to get in and I want to run my offense, right? So I don't really see another reason besides like, oh, Laura is a very strong offensive character. I wore him down with Poison for this long. Now I could just, probably get the 1 game with Laura and switch it up from playing a long range game into the in your face V trigger, I'm out to rob you type of game. But, I'm always prepared for everything. So when I saw him going back to characters, like, I'm like, okay, you're going to pick Laura, and then this matchup is a lot better than Poison Karen. So I'm not really worried.
On your stream, at 2-0 down, you said, that might be it, guys. We might be done. Like, did you believe that?
In those moments is actually when I just be the most confident. Like, like, I talked a lot of trash after winning winners finals. So I'm like, after being down the reset and then being down 2, I'm like, well, I'm just thinking, well, I dug my grave. I got to lay in it now. So I would have never heard the end of it. I mean, I had no excuses. I went back to Philly to play. It wasn't, I didn't get any lag. So if I would have lost, it would have just been on me. And then everybody could give me all the shit they want. I'll take it. It don't really bother me having people talk trash. I've been hearing it for years. So actually, when I won the round, like when I won that second round in the last game, when he was up 2-0, I was like, okay, I think I understand. Like, I felt like I unlocked a different part of the matchup, but then that's when he just switched right away. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's the best option, but I mean, you open to try things, right? He came in hot, right? He came in off of beating Mandrake, and he came in just hot. He was on fire, just watching me the first few games. I didn't really have an answer for anything. I couldn't really get in. I was getting hit by like all the buttons, but I thought about maybe playing Cammy, but I'm like, I can do it with Karen. So why would I put in my brain that I need to switch my character. I took a deep breath and I really felt good after my deep breath. And I was like, okay, I feel like I can actually win after I took that, because I felt like I just wasn't nervous anymore. I feel like I just was like, just my mind just got clear and I was good to play.
So lastly, I'd like to talk to you about your perceived rivalry with Idom. Now we can look back historically, and you were one of the players that could be looked at as gatekeeping him. You would beat him in brackets at rankings and premiers. He wasn't able to get the points to qualify based on the regional points tallies. And obviously you were really successful in second and third seasons of Street Fighter V. If you fast forward to Capcom Cup 2019, where Idom did qualify, you were in winner's side, you're cruising, and ironically I feel like you actually made a similar mistake in which you were doing really well with your Cammy pick. You lost one game, you switched, and then the momentum swung over to Idom, and he was able to get the victory. And it seems like since then people have really been putting you and him head to head. Now you've met a number of times online since then, but in offline open bracket tournament you don't really had the opportunity to. Obviously you met online multiple times, NLBCs, very, very recently in Intel World Open as well, with the connection issues, which now you spoke about. Even down to the CPT and your pre-match quote, which you said, look back at SFL Week 8 and the playoffs and you can see what happens offline. You haven't had the opportunity to really meet in an offline environment and kind of resolve that. How do you view you and Idom's competitive rivalry?
To be honest, I don't really think it's much of a rivalry, because I feel like the win rate is like 90% in my favor. I've beaten him at like 100 of next levels offline. He only beats me online because I don't care to win next level. I play random characters, and for some reason, all of Idom's meat riders, they love comparing our results. I'm like, bro, I play random characters. He plays his mains every single week. I don't care to win next level. It doesn't really mean anything to me, and when we're offline, people pretending like Street Fighter League didn't happen. I don't know how everyone just disregarded Street Fighter League. Like that just didn't happen. Like offline, those games just disappeared and only the online counted. It was kind of weird to me how people just like disregard the actual offline sets that actually matter, where it's no lag and it's just offline, and it was on PC, so like it's really good, right? So I don't know. I just think that it's just weird that everyone cares so much about online results when half the matches are laggy. So I just hope that they finally realize, all the Idom lovers, because he don't talk for himself. He has the goons talk for him, because they all talk for him. It's so weird. I don't really understand the mentality to like, yo, I'm gonna talk for him because he's not saying anything. So I'm gonna just tell Punk this. Like, I'm like, bro, I don't really care what you say. You suck at this game. So your opinion kind of don't matter.
So do you feel like those people that like will keep saying stuff on Twitter or in chat or whatever that aren't Idom, like do you feel like they kind of frustrate you to the point at which you feel like you have to make a point specifically of beating it?
I just think that they talk, but they don't really know why they talk, and they only because they're from New York, I feel like, and I feel like they do want to frustrate me. So that's why I respond to them. I like responding to haters and trolls because it's fun to me, and Panda Global don't really care, so they let me be me, and I like to respond to trolls. I think it's fun. Like, I have the time of my life knowing I can respond to all of the Idom lovers out there and trolls, and I can, I just troll them back, and they get salty because when I win, what they gonna really say? They don't have anything to say anymore. They get quiet on Twitter. You never hear the debate about who the best in America. I ain't never heard the debate about who was best in America before online started. I'm sure you haven't either. I ain't never seen Javits, Art, Defeat Lee. I ain't never seen no more on Twitter was like, yo, who's the best, And it is funny, it only started when I moved to the West Coast. I wasn't even on the East Coast. And the one time I came back to the East Coast when I lived on the West, I won NLBC very easily with no struggle. So, you know, it's just all funny to me that they waited for me to move regions and everything to be online for all of this to come out, because it was never there when offline was a thing, and I was watching him week and week and week at every premiere he went to, every ranking event he went to. He saw me there and he just couldn't ever get me out of the bracket, no matter how hard he tried, no matter how many times he tried. It was just win. And I never seen anything on Twitter. So I do think that they're trying to get to me, because like, why are you saying that? Waited for me to move coast and everything to be online to start saying that it's a comparison between me and someone else in America. You can't compare someone who's top 2 in the world in his region. I've extended America and I'm top 2 in the world. So like, you can't really compare that. I don't know how you go from who's top 2 in America, even though one of the players in the conversation is top 2 in the world and the other is not. So it kind of makes no sense to me with that, because like, how you going to say I'm top 2 in the world with Tokido is the second person, and then y'all saying on the other hand who's top 2 in America, but I'm also in that? It just don't really make sense to me.
That's fair enough, man. Last one then. With regards to the next CPT, because there's money now, like proper money. Are you thinking about entering CPT NA EAST 2?
Yeah, I'll enter. I'm gonna enter just so in case Idom does go to losers, I'll make his haters mad, and I'll go to losers bracket on purpose, and I'll eliminate him from the tournament. And then the same thing he did last year, I'll DQ myself, just like he did last year. He DQ'd himself after beating so many players. I'll do that, and maybe I won't DQ myself. I might actually just go on and win too if I'm feeling like it. But, you know, if he go to losers early, he better expect to see me down there eliminating him out the tournament. And then I want to see all his lovers talk on Twitter and stuff. I want to see when I'm just sitting there eliminating him out of his second Capcom Cup. The only way he will qualify is because, you know, second place would get it. So if he actually got to second, but he wouldn't win the tournament, because I'll win it again. If I so choose to win and want to go back to Philadelphia, I'll win it again. But I won't go back to Philadelphia. I'm going to stay in Florida and play on lag. There's no pressure. And then, you know, I'm going to get my fake online win, and I'm going to be happy. You know, I'm going to make my Twitter posts about my fake online win, how everyone else do. They Twitter post when they win something online, and they pretend that it was a real win. I'm going to do that with my leg, and I'm going to be smiling at home when I lose and get eliminated out of the CPT, because, you know, after I beat them, I might just mirror match some people or something and have some fun, because, I mean, it's not too much money on the line, so I don't care to win that bad. But the fact that I can enter again, I'm going to enter again, and I'm going to just try to eliminate Idom. That's my goal, is just to eliminate Idom and just keep making all his haters. I don't have anything against just his haters or his lovers, his fanboys that always want to push me. So now I'm going to make their life miserable, but it's at the cost of him. So he should probably talk to them or something.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I was like, it doesn't seem like you have a problem with Idom. It's his fans that you seem to have a problem with.
Yeah, it's the only, because I feel like Idom should say something like, bro, they literally attack me every time he beats me online in lag. I feel like he should say something about that. Like, you shouldn't have your fans attacking someone. I'm literally just, I don't even complain about, I complain about CFN and I get attacked by his fans. And I'm like, bro, I'm not even saying anything about the dude. So I don't know why they're attacking me. You know.
All right, man. Thank you so much for your time. We'll leave it there. I know that the people will continue to keep this rivalry alive, and you both will continue to play at the highest level of Street Fighter 5. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much for your time, and I will see you at Capcom Cup. Congratulations, Punk.